Welcome back to my weekly tipping video series, Tip It In. Let's get these tips in. So, I don't know about you guys, but I had an absolutely shocking week. 4 out of 8. Last week I said if I got about a 6, I'd be pretty happy. 7, I'd be ecstatic. But I got a 4 out of 8 and a few teams let me down, but I know that I let myself down. Sometimes I go too big, too hard. I risk it for the biscuit too quickly in the tipping comp, and I do myself in. But let's go through my tips last week just quickly, see where I went wrong. So, Carlton Hawthorn, I tipped Hawthorn by 32 points. They won by 20 points, so I was 12 points off that margin. Happy with that. Collingwood Doggies, Collingwood win, and Adelaide smash Essendon. Now, these next two games I got entirely incorrectly. I went with Richmond against Port Adelaide, and that was my Hail Mary straight away because I had done shitty last week in tipping. And I was like, you know what? If they get up, no one's going to tip them, and that will get me in good stead with my ladder. Alas, they get absolutely pantsed, and a week is a long time in football. Port Adelaide go from 91-point losing margin to, what is that, an 80 or so point winning margin against the Tigers. So that's on me. Round one form, there was a lot of teams that changed their round one form to round two. One of those was St Kilda against Geelong. The Saints came out, they had a 40-plus point lead at one stage, and Geelong clawed them back. I thought Geelong were going to win in the last couple of minutes, would have done good for my tipping, but I lose those two back-to-back on, Saturday night. So I was pretty disappointed, but I was super happy for St Kilda. Brisbane West Coast, I thought West Coast were going to go with that almighty upset, and I was happy to lose the tip there. But I'm glad Brisbane got up because otherwise I would have gotten 3 out of 8, and I would have just given up on my tipping straight away. And then these last two, I lose them. I don't think a lot of people would have tipped North Melbourne. If you did, kudos to you. Absolutely crazy. I obviously went with Melbourne. And Fremantle, I thought were absolutely going to get up. I thought Sydney were going to go 0-3, and Fremantle would show something after they got absolutely pantsed by Geelong in the previous week. They didn't. Justin Longmuir's coaching status is now up in the air, I reckon, because, for a team that everyone had as their sort of top 4 pick, and I know it's very early in the season, they haven't really showed much. They couldn't hold that, not a decent lead, but a good lead against Sydney, and then Sydney win it in the last couple of minutes. So that's why I got a 4 out of 8. Now, let's see where the leaderboard stands. So this is what the current tipping or swoop tipping leaderboard stands at. And we've got Drew's Pies coming in first place. They tipped 7 in that round. Joseph 227 coming in second. And Dimmy _ Papa is coming third. They got a 5 though. So Joseph and Drew's Pies, they both get 7s. And that took them up onto the leaderboard. Let's see if anyone got a perfect round. Oh, shout out to Alexander 21. A perfect round of 8. So they tipped North Melbourne and they tipped St Kilda as well, which would have been the other one that people would have tipped Geelong because of Geelong's form against Fremantle the week before. So congratulations, Alexander 21. That's absolutely huge. And overall, if we go back to total score, out of 933, I'm coming 622nd in my own tipping comp. I am getting my ass kicked in my own tipping comp. That's not fun. That's not fun for me. But let's get to this week's tips. So this week I'm going to play it super, super, super safe. I think Essendon goes 0-3. I'm sorry. Port Adelaide are going to win. I'm going to put them by not 25 points. We're going to put them as 16 points. I think it's going to be closer. I think Essendon are going to show a little bit more, but I do feel like Port Adelaide are going to come out on top there. Now, this one is actually pretty hard. Carlton and the Western Bulldogs. I love what the Doggies put up against us, against the Pies last week. They definitely could have beaten us. Had we a kick straight, we would have been up by 30 points. But Carlton can't afford to go 0-3. But have they shown enough to be able to beat a Doggies side that played so well against us? I don't think so. I think I'm going to go Doggies here, but this is literally a coin flip. So this one could go either way. Melbourne, Gold Coast. Oh, Melbourne are going to want to absolutely show something. They've started their season off with 2 losses in a row. Gold Coast had the bye last week, but then absolutely smashed West Coast a week before for their highest ever winning margin in their history. But at the MCG, I'm gonna have to back in. I'm gonna have to back in the Demons here. They're just they can't lose. They can't lose 3 in a row. There's no way. Even though Gold Coast are going to put up a fight, but this is kind of like the Carlton Western Bulldogs game where it will be a 50-50. The thing with Melbourne is they don't really have a functioning forward line at the moment. I don't like when they chuck Petrarca down there because Petrarca, they need him in that midfield. But they've got an all-star studded midfield. Gorney had a down day. But yeah, there's no way I don't think they can lose this one. I don't think they can lose this one. St Kilda, Richmond, again, playing it safe. I think that Richmond round 1 win was just a fluke. Good on them. But I can't see St Kilda winning this game by less than 40 points. Hawthorn Giants, this is going to be an almighty game. First, third, far out. Are Hawthorn going to go 4-0? And can the Giants go 3-0? So they had the bye last week. I think they'll get a couple of players back. I'm hearing Stringer will come back. I don't know if Hogan's going to come back. But will the bye help them? The thing is, Hawthorn, they're playing at UTAS Stadium, so Hawthorn play really well there. This might be the only one where I go, let's check the form guide, actually. The Giants have won a couple recently. This one might be the only one where I go, and I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm going to tip the Giants here. I think the Giants have got them here. Brisbane Lions, Geelong, Brisbane at the Gabba. Geelong haven't got Tom Stewart, and Geelong got obviously pants by St Kilda. They did fight for that comeback. But Brisbane, they started really slow against the Eagles, but then they came good. They looked good, but did they only look good because it was the Eagles? But then the same with Geelong. They started off slow and then came good right at the end, but it was too little too late trying to peg back a 45-point deficit. At the Gabba. God, this is a prelim rematch, isn't it? Yeah, it's a prelim rematch. Brisbane surely win this one. Far out, but Geelong are... No, I'm going to go Brisbane. I think Brisbane win this at home. Yeah, I don't think Geelong will have the answers for the Lions. Adelaide, North Melbourne. Now, I kind of want to tip North Melbourne because of what they did to Melbourne. But then you look at Adelaide's form, and they have been absolutely just running through teams these last 2 weeks. And they're second on the ladder currently. It's at Adelaide Oval. I'm going to have to tip Adelaide here. West Coast, Fremantle. The battle of last place, really, because whoever loses this one will be in last place. If Justin Longmuir wants to keep his job, there's no way they lose this one. So I'm going Fremantle here. West Coast will put up a fight, but Fremantle to take it all out. Now, this week's buys are Collingwood and Sydney, so no pies this week, unfortunately. What would I be happy with here? You know what? That's a 7 out of 8 week. I reckon that's a 7 out of 8 week. If I get 6, I'll be happy with that. But I think a 7 is on its way. But they are my tips for the week. My lock of the week. Ooh, who will my lock of the week be? My lock of the week is going to be the Giants against Hawthorn at UTAS Stadium. Let me know your thoughts down below. Where are you situated in the tipping comp? But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, Double Shackers, I'll swoop you later.